We paid for the pleasure of staying at the Vintage Cottage on Middle Bolton Lake in Vernon, Connecticut. We stayed for 3 nights from August 1st, 2025 to August 4th. The cottage, which is nestled closely within other residences, was situated directly on Middle Bolton Lake shore, offering instant access to the usual summer lake activities. The interior had a modern climate control system, a small kitchen with all the usual appliances, a living room with a pull-out couch, a bedroom with a bed for up to 2 or 2.5, and a bathroom with a stand-up shower. This space is best suited for a couple, even though the listing says a max occupancy of 3. It's a fairly small and intimate space, and something that probably matters to most people is that the only bathroom is located within the bedroom, so if you're sharing space with people who aren't sleeping in the same bed as you, when they go to do their usual business, they will have to walk into your bedroom first to get to the bathroom. Unless they choose to get to the bathroom via the windows, which would be highly impractical and poor form. As far as the accessible space, you get 1 floor, as the attic and basement are off limits. However, there is mention of a washer and dryer at your request, which, from what I've seen, I believe is in the basement area. The deck faces the east, right over the lake, so you can catch some very nice sunrises here. Just be warned that on days with a clear sky and a very clear lake, you'll be catching 2 sunrises right to the face at the same time from 2 different angles. So in these situations, you'll likely need a pair of sunglasses with your morning coffee. This view and its disclaimer also apply to the lower dock area, where there's a separate seating area for leisurely lake viewing. Here are the listing details. We paid $826.35 for the grand total, which equates to $275.45 a night, again, grand total. The name The Vintage isn't just a selling point, but a pretty apt description. Many of the appliances and fixtures and stylings are either completely original to the 1942 built cottage, or they were updated from an older time, or in rarer cases, they were modern but stylistically cohesive. There are obvious pros and cons to this. As far as a proper vintage experience, that's the pro, and the pros and cons are virtually the same thing. Before I go on with this list, I just want to clarify that we had no serious issues that posed some major hiccup in our trip. Older appliances can be either not in great working order or not in any working order. Things like certain light fixtures would not be working. Some burners on the stove would initially not be working and required some tinkering. There were certain windows that seemed unwise to attempt to open. One very notable thing is that despite its vintage aura, it was extremely clean, free of dust and stains and bugs for the most part, especially considering the wooded area that it's in. As far as privacy, the neighbors are, again, close by, and you can always get a peek at them and they can get a peek at you if you choose, if that's your fancy, but there are curtains, so you can close those off for the interior. As far as the exterior goes, you can be seen from the neighboring residences a little bit while you're sitting on the deck, and you can be seen a lot of bit from people on the lake, at least from the waist up, so you can still get away with whatever that allows. As you watch the lake, you're going to see many kayakers, boaters, fishers, swimmers even, essentially just passing right through your backyard. This entire area is a lot like a communal experience. And again, this can be easily seen as a pro rather than a con, and for us, it was. We found it really enjoyable to just be a part of this seemingly perpetual summer vibe, where there was a non-stop good time going without dipping into obnoxious party territory. So as far as noise goes, no real issues, although you will hear perhaps the occasional group of annoying yapping dogs and the odd conversation from people who don't understand how well sound travels over water, or don't care. The stairs that lead down to the cabin are manageable, but more dangerous than your typical stairs. They're stone stairs, they're uneven, and they're fairly well put together, but I did come across some loose stones. So always be mindful and watch your step. The shore itself is at the very, very bottom of a steep slope. So most, if not all of the driveways don't actually pull up to the residences. They park higher up on the hill at a designated parking area, and then you walk down to the residences. The cottage is east of Hartford. There is no shortage of supplies such as places to eat, groceries, a surprising amount of liquor stores, and oddly enough, barbershops and salons, as well as dispensaries. I had visited the Coventry Public Market, which is only about 10 minutes away and almost exactly 5 miles away from the cottage, to pick up all my basic necessities like chocolates for the birthday girl. At some point we had visited a place called Firestone Cafe, which was a pretty artsy place. They integrated arts and crafts, but a much more mature version of that with a regular cafe. The sandwiches were decent. However, in retrospect, we should have gotten our coffees to go. That took about 45 minutes up to an hour to get a cappuccino and a latte. We also stopped in the college town, the very clean and tidy college town, Storrs, Connecticut, where we had a sit down at Dog Lane Cafe, where in this case the coffee is only as slow as you are. This was a nice spot that we wanted to revisit, including the town, but we didn't have enough time, so that's definitely worth exploring some more. And one other notable place, which was a place that was actually recommended in the guidebook, was New England Pizza and Restaurant. Don't let its muted and subdued appearance fool you. The food that we got was fantastic. Some crispy chicken wings and a proper pepperoni pizza, as well as a caprese pizza. We both thought it was top tier, and that's saying something coming from my fiancé, who's generally extraordinarily picky about things like this. One thing I have to mention is that there was surprisingly not a single confirmed mosquito in sight. Generally, I was expecting to be completely bombarded. I was actually planning on how I would schedule and strategize my time outside on the lake or on the deck to avoid being eaten alive. While there were plenty of other critters around, again, I did not see a single confirmed mosquito. I know the area does mosquito management of some sort, but there's nothing stated about a total eradication of them. So my best guess would be that it's a combination of various properties in the area doing some form of personal treatment. Or we're just incredibly lucky. Naturally, the highlight of the location is the lake and the provided kayaks. That, to us, is responsible for most of the value that you'll get out of this experience, although, again, the cottage is quite nice even without that. Overall, a very enjoyable stay. Would definitely stay again. We got our custom wine and custom stamped glasses. Perfect Cheetos is the real reason I booked this place.